proud to follow Hartlepool United.
BBC Radio T's
Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Josh Frankland and you're listening to BBC Radio T's on our DAB frequency, where we'll be focusing on Hartlepool United's game at the Soup Direct against Woking. And last time out, it was a disappointing afternoon for Hartlepool United.
Ashby with the free kick floats it into the back post. A free header, Jameson palms it down in the 6-yard box and it's buried in by Funky Hugh again. His second of the afternoon. Hartlepool United in this second half have been put to the sword by Oxford City, who lead Pools by 5-2.
It's been one thing after another for manager John Askey in recent weeks, with injuries stripping the squad down to the bare bones. Paired with that embarrassing 5-2 defeat at Oxford last weekend, Pools could really do with a strong showing this afternoon against a side who reached the playoffs last season. Therefore, their form at home has helped them to fourth in the table, and although it's early days, Askey says they're desperate need of strengthening.
Yeah, we need to bring in 2 or 3 players. Obviously it's not easy just to pluck players out of thin air who are going to be better than what we've got, so we have to be careful that we don't just panic into just bringing anybody in, because I think in the past obviously we've seen when people feel as though they're forced into doing that, then you can make mistakes. So we just got to try and be patient, pick up results, and then try and add as we go along and try and get better players in.
Full match commentary today on Hartlepool United's v Woking with Rob Law and the former Pools defender Ben Clark. We'll also keep you up to date with the second qualifying round of the FA Cup, with 4 local teams in action, including Spennymoor Town.
We're as passionate as you are.
BBC Radio T's Sport.
Yes, good afternoon, Pools fans. Not long to go now until kick-off at the Soup Direct. We'll be keeping you right up to date with that this afternoon, as well as the 4 games in the FA Cup. It's Lancaster vs Mask, South Shields vs Bishop Auckland, Spennymoor vs Marine, and Whitby vs Prescott Tables. Right then, before we head over to the Soup Direct, let's hear more now from the Hartlepool United boss, John Askey, ahead of their game against Woking in the National League. One player who struggled for game time this season is veteran Matty Dolan, who joined the club last season. Askey says it's nothing but personal, but more a tactical decision.
The same as it's been to the start of the season. Obviously Matt's available, how we've been playing, then obviously felt that Manny would be a better option, so but Manny stayed fit, since the start of the season, so that's all it is with Matt, probably just the way that we play.
And talking about the top end of the pitch and sort of competition for places, Joe Gray's really sort of grasped his moment in that starting 11 and getting goals as well as his performances on the pitch. You must be really pleased with how he's adapted and linking up with Manny Desirue as well, because I think fans for a long time have been hoping Joe Gray would be given an opportunity. It seems he's taking it now with both hands.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to, as they all do, because there's real competition at the especially for forwards with Chris and Josh. And like you say, he got his opportunity and he's taken it. In the games that he's played, he's either created or he's scored one. So with him and Manny doing that, then obviously we've got the goals that we've got. But we are lucky that the 4 centre forwards are all more than capable at this level. And no, it's been good to watch Joe develop, because at the start of season, pre-season, he'd done okay, but he hadn't scored and he wasn't really making them, so he didn't start the season. But he's taken on board what we said to him, and no, he's done really well, and really pleased with him, and he always works hard as well for the team. So yeah, it's good to see like the local lads who've come through the youth team doing well.
And I suppose it, in a way, sort of puts the gauntlet down for the others as well, doesn't it? The ones who aren't playing, whether it's Amera, whether it's Chris Ray. I know he's had a few niggles, but it does, doesn't it? It sets that bar and it raises that competition, which is, I suppose, as a manager, you always want in your team.
Yeah, and you've got to let players know that it doesn't matter who you are, what age you are. If you play well, then you stay in the team. There's nothing worse than for a player if you're playing well and you get dropped because you probably thought of as being a young boy or as happens to a lot who are, local lads who come through, because somebody's been signed for money or whatever, then they get preference over them. But it should be about what you do on the pitch, and and if Joe keeps performing.
Just have to interrupt the Pools boss, John Askey there, as we're ready to go at the Suit Direct Stadium, so let's get across to Rob Law and Ben Clark for this afternoon's game.
Thank you, Josh. Just had a moment of applause there after the sudden passing of one of Hartlepool United's longest serving stewards, James Corner, who used to absolutely boss Clarence Road. If anybody has been to the stadium recently and tried to come down that way, he was the man in charge of blocking out all the traffic and making sure nobody got through. And I remember constantly having conversations with James on the gate as we were coming into the stadium, and every match day, he would say, "Need a win today, don't we?" And not a truer statement said coming into this afternoon's game, but a great tribute, because come rain or shine, James would be out on Clarence Road on match days, controlling the road closure, proudly shouting over the radio that the away team bus had arrived and to clear the spaces. So James will be well missed here on a match day. Hartlepool United underway after that tribute to him, their longest standing steward on a match day. Pools kicking from right to left, a mistake at the back by Luke Hendry, lets in Podrick Armand, but Hendry combines well with Manion Arise to clear the danger. So let me run you through the two teams then. 45 seconds in, 0-0. Pete Jameson in goal for Pools. Back three of Luke Hendry, Manion Arise and Alex Lacey. The wing backs of Charlie Seaman and David Ferguson, the captain. Midfield three of Tom Crawford, Kieran Wallace and Ollie Finney, who starts his first game in a Pools shirt for 7 months. Manny Desarouet and Joe Gray, the two leading the line up front. On the bench for Pools, Joel Dixon, Brodie Patterson, Josh O'Meara, Chris Ray, and a space on the bench for new signing Osazi Agatis as well. I'll take you through the walking side very shortly. They're on the attack down this near side. David Ferguson just keeping an eye on his man as the ball is clipped through to Pete Jameson in the Pools goal. So one change for them. Oyeleke drops out through injury and Jermaine Anderson comes in to replace him. So they start in a 4-2-3-1 formation with Will Jaskalainen in goal, the son of Jussi Jaskalainen, the former Bolton keeper. A back four of Dan Moss, Tunji Anikola, Scott Cuthbert and Josh Casey. The two defensive midfielders of Luke Wilkinson and Zach Bradshaw. A midfield three of Jermaine Anderson, Jim Kellerman and Ricky Koboa, with Podrick Armand leading the line up front. Should say for Pools, there is no Callum Cook. He is injured, an ankle injury the club have announced. Picked it up in training, has been for scans and hoping to get the results of those very soon indeed. We'll obviously ask the question to the Pools manager after the game for a more comprehensive update on that injury. But as Hartlepool United clear the danger out into the Neil Cooper stand, alongside me Ben Clark, former Hartlepool United defender. He's been a manager in his own right as well, a coach. And Ben, pleasure to have you. How's it feel being back?
Yeah, mate, it's really exciting. I'm a bit jealous actually. Looking to see no supporters here today. A lovely day for here in Hartlepool actually. So great for football. Both sides just settling into the game nice and early, and I think Pools will probably want to start in the front foot and try and put this Woking defence under pressure.
And we were calculating, weren't we, off air, saying when was the last time you'd been back here, and it was 2018, so it's been a while. So has it changed much since you were last here?
I've just seen you before. The stand in front of us is lovely, really nice, being done out. To see all the supporters here, it's fantastic, and I'm sure all it takes is a good tackle or something like that to get the supporters on side, and they'll ride with you all the way through. So I'm really looking forward to the game.
The ball just out of play for a Hartlepool United goal kick. So Ben Clark, our expert Pools summariser, with us this afternoon, as Pete Jameson just places the ball down on his 6-yard line, dressed all in green with the white boots and the thick white goalkeeping gloves that seem to grow ever bigger with every game. It's almost like they grow up the arms towards the elbow by every passing game, goalkeeping gloves. Long ball forward, looking for Podrick Armand, a slip in midfield, and Finney helps it out to Ferguson. He
brings the ball forward and finds Desirue, who's having his shirt pulled.
Well.
And Luke Wilkinson is judged to have fouled Desirue, and
Nice
Pools have taken it quickly. And Kieran Wallace is judged to have taken it too soon because he was talking, the referee, with the walking player. It was almost a nice idea, Ben.
Yeah, it was. He was on the front foot. He actually got away with it as well, so I think the lad was offside. So a good small free kick, nice and early. Pools looking to get the ball down and play.
Ferguson with a cross into the 6-yard box, but that was easily dealt with by the opposition keeper Will Jaskalainen. Manny Desirue just giving the thumbs up to Ferguson as the ball bounces all the way through to Pete Jameson. And I think both your mind and my mind were thinking the same there, that Ricky Corboa was almost in for walking there. Something Pools are going to have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I've seen walking early in the season. The goalkeeper has got a really long kick. He'll try and catch Pools out at the back. I mean, looking at the walking side, look a big physical side, very front foot with the pressing. They've started really well pressing the Pools defenders, so they've got to be wary of that.
Podrick Hammond just trying to weave his way through, but again, Manny on a reset tries to clear into touch. Charlie Seaman with a neat touch, but it does eventually run out of play for a walking throw-in. So Pools kicking from right to left in this first half in their familiar blue and white vertical stripes. Was the blue shorts and the the white socks with the red trim, walking from left to right towards the town end in the gold shirts with the black name and numbers on the back, the black shorts with the gold trim and the gold socks to match the shirts. It is a very overcast afternoon in Hartlepool. Slate grey skies. You can see the mist in the distance out on the over towards the marina, and the surface wasn't really watered too heavily before kick-off. But walking with a free kick just left of centre midway inside the Pools half, and they've taken it quickly, trying to catch out Pete Jameson there as he was giving instruction to his defence in front of him, but thankfully, Ben, Pete Jameson was alert to it, wasn't he?
There. It was clever thinking from the walking centre-back, but Pete was on his toes and dealt with it well.
We're speaking to our colleagues at BBC Radio Surrey before kick-off, and they sounded almost very similar to Pools in the sense that Hartlepool United have been stricken by so many injuries at the start of this campaign, and our colleagues saying, yeah, it's been much the same for walking. Some big players for them that are missing this afternoon, and they said they're only really attacking players that they have on the field this afternoon. Obviously Podrick Hammond, and we all know what he can do, and Ricky Corboa as well, who's played League One with Northampton, League Two with Sutton United as well. So both teams are really down to the bare bones, and it can really knock confidence out of a team, can't it, when you are down to the bare bones?
Yeah, it definitely can. I think it's, you want your settled players and you want your best players on the pitch, really. But this gives an opportunity for the players to come in and stay the position for the team. Like I said, I think Wogan definitely will be up there come the playoffs, and this is Hartlepool is going to be a big scalp for anybody that comes here. They want to come up here and they want to impress because it's such a big club and a fabulous club. So, yeah, injuries for both teams, but opportunities for players as well.
Absolutely, and Tom Crawford has taken his opportunities so far this season. Bright orange boots on his feet, 2 goals already this season in midfield alongside Kieran Wallace and Ollie Finney, starting his first game for 7 months. Been struggling with tendinitis, but here's an opportunity this afternoon to stake his claim as Charlie Seaman clears the ball over his own head into the opposition half. Ball bounces all the way through, and Luke Henry just has to recover because Podrick Hammond had given him the slip and almost got him behind there.
Yeah, I think that's what Hammond's done all through his career. Scored goals through the levels, plays on the shoulder, comes alive when the ball's in the box. So the Pool defenders are going to have to be on him all game and concentrating right to the end, because he's had a good goal scoring record, and he is lively in the box. 2
goals so far this season for Podrick Hammond, and he's right on the goal line, tangling with David Ferguson, who's trying to protect his goalkeeper in Pete Jameson. We're waiting for this corner to come in from Corboa. Right-footed in-swinger to the front post, headed out by Wallace, hangs up in the air. Desirue helps it on its way, and then Woking end up clearing the lines for Hartlepool United, doing them a favour. Lacey gets underneath it to try and head it away. Joe Gray pulls it down out of the end, lays it off to Finney. He assesses his options and finds Ferguson, the Pool's captain, who just cushions the pass back to Wallace and then clips it into an area for the Pool's forwards to chase onto. Cleared by Walking, and Lacey does well to keep it in. Wallace trying to combine with Ferguson, but Wallace having to apologise there, just a little bit too much on it. Pools end up with a throw-in right down in front of us.
I think both teams just feeling each other out early doors here. I think Woking, they'll try and make it a bit of a fight, and Pools are going to try and get the ball down and play. So two teams evenly matched at the minute.
Throw-in goes into the Woking half. Alex Lacey tries to pick it up and hits a diagonal ball, which seemed to hit Kellerman square in the cheek. And Corboa goes down. Well, I tell you what, that was theatrical. But Ricky Corboa goes down, and he's never going to book him for that, is he? Is that
It's the first tackle?
He is as well. He's got his pen out. Michael Barlow, a yellow card to Tom Crawford. Well, I mean, so by all means, Ben, tell me if I'm wrong. Was that a free kick?
I don't think it was a foul. I mean, I think referees now that they see it as he's trying to stop a counter-attack, but you know, back in the day, I sound old now, but you're allowed 1-3-1, and it wasn't really I think, like you said there, Rob, I think the lad won it more than anything. But I think Woking have done really well. It was the press. They've pressed really high, and they're going to make it difficult for Hartlepool to try and play and break out the lines. But that's where the Hartlepool have got to be brave and trust the process and keep trying to play the right way.
Free kick then for Woking, left of centre. It's a good, 30 yards and some change. Luke Wilkinson stood over it. Two dummies, and then it's delivered straight into the wall. It hits Ollie Finney, rebounds out, and then Wilkinson has another go. And the cheers and the jeers will tell you that it never bothered Pete Jameson away to our right in the Pool's goal. That was high and wild, that one, Ben.
That was a centre half there. He's got his socks. He looks like Jack Grealish. He's got his socks right down, and he's taking free kick centre half. Yeah, I think that's the modern day footballer now, I think. So
yeah, his socks look like Jack Grealish. His hairline doesn't look quite the same though, does it?
I'm not speaking about hairline.
I would never say anything. I would never say anything, Ben. Goal kick to Hartlepool United. Pete Jameson launches it out to this near side towards David Ferguson, who leaps, doesn't quite get there. Lacey puts his head in where it hurts and does well with Wallace to combine and win possession. Spreads the play out to the right hand side for Charlie Seaman. His first chance to really run at the defence, keeps it in as well does Charlie Seaman. Tries to help it on towards Crawford, but just over hit, and Woking can clear as Manny Desirue heads it out for a throw-in. And that was almost a nice piece of individual play from Charlie Seaman down that right hand side.
Yeah, it looks lively. I think I think he fancied himself there against the full back, got past him, and looked a right bright spark for the Pools there.
Scores elsewhere in the National League. It's a really easy one to tell you because it's goalless everywhere else, up and down the country in the National League. The late kick-off is Kidderminster against Solihull Moors, as the ball sprays out of play for a throw-in. In the Premier League, the early kick-off, Wolves 1, Liverpool 3. Wolves leading by 1-0 after just 7 minutes. Cody Gakpo equalising after 55, and then there's 2 goals in 6 minutes right at the end of the game to see Liverpool turn a draw into a win to take the 3 points. Highlights on Match of the Day this evening as Manny Onarise slides in, takes his man, and the referee, another free kick the way of Woking. I have a feeling, Ben, we're going to be talking a lot about the referee this afternoon.
Yeah, I think he's laid his marker down early. You can see that Woking have definitely come with a game plan. They're going to go get the ball forward as quick as they possibly can and make it really difficult for the Pools players. The referee's made a couple of decisions early doors, and
it's always hard when referees do that, isn't it? Because, like you say, that's then the barometer for the rest. That's the bar for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, they've got to be
it?
consistent with it now, and you see, I think both weren't really fouls. But
yeah, I would tend to agree with you. Free kick then to Woking in a similar position, a little bit further back. Wilkinson once again. This time it takes a deflection off the wall and goes narrowly wide of Pete Jameson's left-hand post, and out for another corner the way of Woking. Their second of the game already. We are 14 minutes in. BBC Radio T Sport on your DAB digital radio Hartlepool United 0, Woking 0. Pools looking to get back on track after that tough defeat down at Oxford City last weekend, losing 5-2 after leading 2-1 for the majority of the game. Meanwhile, Woking drew 1-1 with Solihull in their last game. Yeah, the referee is having a conversation with Manny Desirue in his opposite number on the edge of the Pools defence. I think this is going to get tedious by the end of the game, isn't it? If we're feeling it in the commentary box, you can sure the players are thinking the same down on the pitch. Corner for Woking. It's a training ground move. Played short. Whipped back into the back post. Right on top of Pete Jameson. Has to watch it. And he has to tip it over his own crossbar. In fact, the referee and the linesman agree that it went over before Jameson actually got a hand to it. So it's a goal kick. But that, I don't know if that was the wind or just a curl on the ball or what, but it's almost caught him unsighted.
Yeah, it did. I think Pete did get a touch. He did tip it over the bar, and obviously we worked on the training ground.
Offside flag is up on Joe Gray. So it is a free kick the way of Woking, who have brought a handful of fans away to our left.
Yeah, it's a good effort, that, isn't it?
Yeah, considering the journey.
Yeah.
So a free kick to the away side. Smattering of applause you might hear in the background is for some of the Pools subs who are warming up in Chris Ray and Josh O'Meara. Free kick taken by the goalkeeper Jääskeläinen straight into the penalty area. Luke Hendry leaps for it, doesn't get there, and he goes wide of the mark for a goal kick. And Pools have just in the last sort of 7 or 8 minutes have struggled to really get the foot on the ball.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you come off a defeat where you've conceded a lot of goals, you do tend to start the game a little bit nervy. I think this is where
a slip at the back from Kieran Wallace might open up for Woking. A shot straight down the throat of Pete Jameson. It came in from distance by Jermaine Anderson, but it was Pete Jameson who was equal to it.
Yeah, you can see that the Pools players are just a little bit nervous at the moment. They need somebody to try and get on the ball, calm things down, try and get the crowd on side early. Like I say, we've just started this game a little bit nervous, and I think Woking can sense that.
And the longer it goes on, the more nervy the support will get, and that just plays into the arms of the opposition team, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In Woking, the clash of heads between Lacey and Wallace there, but both players are down right on the touchline, and it looks like Lacey has come off the worst of those two. And the last thing Hartlepool United need now, and you can see the body language straight away, David Ferguson, his chin sinking to his chest and shaking his head. He knows the last thing Pools need is another injury, concussion, or anything to a member of the starting 11.
Yeah, it was right in front of us. You've seen it coming. Obviously, Lacey's took the brunt of it coming at the back, so hopefully he's not too bad. But obviously, you've got to be careful with head injuries. There's some
blood on his hand there, so he's clearly come off worse for wear, Lacey. And the physios and the doctors are down there having a look at him. He is moving, he's sat up now, and they're just treating that wound. Meanwhile, Pools have a throw-in to defend, parallel with the penalty area, out to this right-hand side, delivered by Moss into the box. Podrick Ammon collects it, tries to turn, half a block in there, just rebounds and bounces up into the path of Pete Jameson. But Pools doing well to get bodies in front of the box, in front of the ball there. And the referee is Lacey's still getting treatment down in front of us.
I think just headed the back of his head, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was
the
front of Lacey's head onto the back of Kieran Wallace's head. As the ball drops over the top of the Pools defence and into the arms safely, Pete Jameson. So 19 minutes on the clock. Pools 0, Woking 0, but Pools momentarily down to 10 men as Alex Lacey gets the Terry Butcher style headdress. Did you ever have one of those in your?
Yeah, I did once, back in the day. Yeah.
I was thinking as a central defender, you surely would have had a couple of those. Yeah. It's almost like a badge of honour, isn't it, for central defenders?
I was more cultured than that. I let Nels head it.
Cultured, right? Yeah. I like that.
Mickey Nelson headed it, and I just passed it.
Yeah. Well, Lacey has pulled himself back to his feet. He has the white headband wrapped around him. Well, he's walking back round the...
I think it's coming off, isn't he? I think there's a sub coming
yeah,
off.
it does, yeah, you're right. Well, Alex Lacey back into the starting 11. It only lasted 20 minutes. He's been replaced by Brodie Patterson, and that will mean that Pools shift things around. Brodie Patterson will go to a left wing back. David Ferguson will go to the left of the 3 central defenders.
Chance.
And a chance here as Desirue is offside, but that is very tight. And the offside flag does go up, but for a moment there, the crowd thought Pools were in.
Yeah, he won't mind that, keep doing that, because good forward run, good forward ball, just slightly missed time, but he knows that they're quite high line, so there's an opportunity there in behind. I mean, you couldn't write it with injuries at the minute, can you?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's done some voodoo on John Askey and Hartlepool United. It is incredible the amount of and they've all been really unfortunate injuries. So you think Dan Dodds somebody goes through the back of him, does his ACL. Anthony Mancini tracking back, 2 games in less than 48 hours, does his hamstring. And now Alex Lacey, clash of heads. Callum Cook potentially could be out for some time with an ankle injury that he rolled in training. And if they're muscle injuries, you probably look at what you're doing in training or recovery or whatever it is, but they all just seem like really unfortunate injuries.
I think you see, Fergie will go back into there. Fergie's really experienced. The captain of the team. He's been around, so I've got no issue with him going back in there.
And you see Alex Lacey going straight down the tunnel for further treatment. As the game just enters a bit of a scrappy phase, and the referee, Charlie Seaman, slaps his hands down on his thighs in frustration. And the ref gives another free kick the way of Walking for a judged foul by Seaman on his opposite number. So it's a free kick about 3 or 4 yards in from the touchline in front of the Cyril Knowles stand, closer to the halfway line than anything else. Very high defensive line for Pools. Podrick Hammond is quite deep as we await this free kick. Left-footed, I beg your pardon. Floated into the edge of the area. The handball shout is heard by the referee, Michael Barlow. And again, the ironic cheers and jeers can tell you everything you need to know about what people inside the stadium this afternoon think about the man in the middle with the whistle. Who'd want to be a referee?
Yeah, not me.
Me neither. Me neither. Elsewhere in the Championship, our other featured game this afternoon over on 95 FM with Mark Drury and Neil Madison. Still Blackburn 0, Middlesbrough 0. There has been a goal between Huddersfield and Rotherham though. Huddersfield 1, Rotherham 0. Preston 1, Plymouth 0. QPR 1, Sunderland 0. With the late kick off Cardiff against Swansea. So you're up to date with the goals in the Championship this afternoon. Still waiting the first goal in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League this afternoon. Meanwhile, in the National League, Fylde 0, Eastleigh 1 is the only other goal so far this afternoon. As Nani Desirue gets a shove in the back, but nothing given as the referee shakes his head and we play on. Long ball forward from the Walking goalkeeper, skips up off the turf and out for a Pools goal kick. And that is a clear tactic from Walking, isn't it? Upset the play, give it to the goalkeeper, he punts long, get men high up the pitch to try and get around the ball.
That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, they are good at it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way they want to play. And you can see how they're set up here. Look how high they are for the press. So as soon as Pools going to go and play, I think it sets a trigger for them to go and press. They're all on the front foot, look ready to go.
Yeah, they're almost like 100-yard sprinters, aren't they?
Let's go. And that's what they want, a ball like this to compete with. And they can pick the second ball up.
The ball, David Ferguson just hugging tight to Podrick Hammond. There's the ball skipped up off Hammond's thigh and out for a Pools throw-in. Taken quickly, the ball with Ferguson.
Nice.
Finds Finney out on this near side touchline. He helps it infield to Desirue, who turns and is fouled this time. And listen to that.
That was lovely play though from Pools there. They've got a way of playing. They've got to stick to it. They've got to try and pass the ball, break the line with the passing, which is great. And the lads have got to be brave. There's two types of bravery in football. There's the ones that you go and head it, and the ones that want the ball when things aren't going well. But that was really good play there from Pools.
Yeah, it's a really good point about the bravery. It's something that's been aimed at Pools when things haven't been going well, is that, you know, not having that characteristic to show for the ball when things are going against you.
Definitely.
And they need to be careful not getting sucked into the fight, don't they, this afternoon?
I think that's exactly what Woking want, isn't it? I think that they've come and probably started the way that Hartlepool wanted to start the game, on the front foot. I mean, it is difficult to play against when they're going that direct. We've got to give them credit, they are good at it, and they are causing a few problems.
Free kick then for the away side. Will Jääskeläinen coming right out of his goal to take this, just short of the halfway line. High defensive line, it comes right over the top. Almost, it was. I just wondered for a minute there if it might drop to Padraig Hammond, but too much on it, and it goes out for a Pools goal kick. 25 minutes on the clock. Hartlepool United 0, Woking 0 in the National League this afternoon. First goal of the Premier League, 3 o'clock kickoffs. Manchester United 0, Brighton 1. Danny Welbeck scoring against his former employers there. Back at his own stomping ground at Old Trafford. Pools looking to play out from the back. Brodie Patterson to Ferguson, who helps it on forward towards Dizaroué, but the defender's got hold of his shirt. The fans want a free kick that doesn't come. Luke Hendry put under pressure, so forces the ball up in the afternoon sky. Wallace wins the header. It drops down for Honoré. Pools with the ball at the base of the defence, with Ferguson drifting out to this wide left-hand side and wins a throw-in. And as we said earlier, frustrations perhaps just starting to build amongst those in a blue and white shirt, but it's important they try and keep a level head, because it will only play into the hands of the gold shirts of Woking. Ferguson into Joe Gray, that's a bit better. Manny Dizaroué is fouled, and the referee obliges with the whistle. Just need somebody to get on the ball and try and dictate things a little bit better.
Yeah, just a few passes, get the ball moving. I mean, going to Manny, looks like he can hand the ball.
We'll be give you a roundup of some scores in a minute as Brodie Patterson goes down the left-hand side for a cross that was blocked and rebounds out for a throw-in, quickly taken. Ferguson finds Wallace, thinks about the delivery, instead clips it over the top for Finney. Left-hand side of the penalty area, flashes it across goal, goes all the way through. Charlie Seaman racing to try and keep it in, but he drops out, and it's a throw-in to Woking. But that is better from Pools.
Yeah, it looks like Wallace can handle the ball. Good left foot. If we can try and get him on the ball, trying to dictate things. Lovely little ball down the side, and a good cross. Really, just needed a few more players in the box. Or Anthony Sweeney late run back in the day, something like that, to make the box.
What they could do for someone like that at present. As Manny Dizaroué goes down, but the the foul is given the opposite way. Yeah,
it's going to be a tough afternoon for Manny there, but I think he started the game well. I think if he can get the ball into more quality, he can handle the ball, he can hold it up. I think out of the Pools players, he's probably started the game the best regarding his ball retention. So
he's always a threat, is Manny Dizaroué. 6 goals so far this season. Long ball over the top as Woking can't keep hold of it, and it's out for a goal kick. Pete Jameson just tossing the ball down onto the turf. So ticking towards the hour mark, and Pools yet to really test Will Jääskeläinen in the opposition goal, as Pete Jameson waves his teammates forward from this goal kick up towards Joe Gray, who's just out jumped on the halfway line there. Charlie Seaman almost caught in possession, and then he's just outnumbered as Woking press high up the pitch and win it in good areas, and have it with Kellerman out to the left hand side. This is some patient build-up from the gold shirts of Woking. Kellerman tries to deliver into the near post, but easily dealt with by Pete Jameson in the end. Just to update you on some FA Cup qualifying round fixtures: Lancaster 3, Mask 0. So that is a nightmare start for Mask United to that one. Whitby leading Prescott by a goal to 0 as well. We'll keep you up to date with those and have a full roundup at half-time with Josh Frankland We'll take you through all the half-time scores at the break, but here, Pools 0, Woking 0. Pools just struggling to really get a pattern of play. Pools with it now inside their own half. Wallace finds Desirue, but he's deep inside his own half. Ferguson now has a bit of space to run into. Brody Patterson out to his left, who is calling for it, but Ferguson,
nice play.
Yeah, instead went through the centre of the pitch. Gray to Crawford, now Seaman. This is better from Pools, it looks promising. Seaman onto that left foot, we know he can hit it. He strikes this one, but didn't have the same power behind it. It was an easy save in the end from Will Jääskeläinen, but that was much better from a Pools perspective, Ben Clark.
Yeah, much better, strung a few passes together, a bit more patient with the ball, broke a line, got out to the other side, and ended up with a shot at goal. That was much better play from Hartlepool there.
As Crawford wins it in midfield, that is a good challenge, and the referee lets it go on. Desirue out to the right hand side for Joe Gray, who is onside, wide right hand side, skips infield, like slight feet.
It's better.
Nice footwork. Wallace for Ferguson, the crowd shouts shoot, instead he tries to pass, and a rebound. Wallace crunches into a challenge, and the crowd enjoyed that. Brody Patterson keeps it in. Pools building a bit of momentum now. Patterson finds Finney, but it just wriggles away from him, and walking clear. And then Manny Onarise is giving it straight away, but Ferguson wins it back. And Ferguson is pulling the strings, and he feeds it through to Finney, left-hand side of the penalty area, into the 6-yard box, across the face of goal. Desirue striding into the box, couldn't quite meet it, and the ball ends in the arms of Will Jääskeläinen in the opposition goal. And Pools are starting, Ben, to find their rhythm.
Yeah, much better. Comes from a good tackle from Wallace. Like we said earlier on, get a tackle, get something, get the crowd on side. Lovely tackle in the middle of the park, showed his commitment, and Fergie's got real quality on his left-hand side. He's getting a lot of the ball, so it was good play there. He got out again, good football.
Wallace glides into his man, manages to just keep hold of it as Brody Patterson, the ball rebounds off of his foot and out for throwing. So that's given everybody a little bit of a lift, hasn't it? A bit of encouragement. Throwing to Woking though, on the halfway line. Goes down the line towards Anderson. Onarise helps it out just to be sure. And another throw in for the away side. It's been an interesting start to Woking's campaign. Unbeaten in the last 4 games, as Crawford does well in midfield to win it and keep it. And then Finney curls one into the path of Desirue, and he strides through on goal. 1-on-1, Desirue! Oh, and he rebounds off the post! Oh, Joe Gray's fighting it over! He buries his face in the turf. The goal was gaping. The crowd were expectant. Desirue racing down on goal, slipped it past Jääskeläinen, and it was trickling agonisingly towards the goal mouth. It rebounded off the post into Joe Gray, who sat his man down but then fired it over.
Real quality. It's hard to be a bit critical about that, because everything was perfect by the finish. I mean, hit the inside of the post. Fabulous play, great touch. The touch from the big man put him straight through. I mean, the goal scoring form is on. You did fancy him to finish that, but again, Gray showed great composure, but then just rushed the last little bit, the most important bit. But that's got the crowd gone side. Again, lovely play from Pools in the middle of the park.
That is the best move of the game by far. And Ollie Finney, the man who's starting his first game for 7 months, was the man who played that beautiful curling ball through the midfield, out to the right hand side for Desirue, whose first touch just opened up the space for him.
He did everything right, didn't he? He did. Yeah, it was hard to be too critical, but he'd be disappointed he hasn't scored because of the form he's been in.
Walking on the attack at the front post towards Ammon, but good defending from Onarise. And he launches an attack for Desirue, out-muscles his man. He's got 2 gold shirts around him, and he's just out-muscled on the ball himself there. Tom Crawford is screaming for a free kick. John Askey is as well down on the touchline. Well, we have a game on our hands all of a sudden. It's burst into life.
This should be a real handful. You can tell he's going to score a lot of goals at this level.
As Blackburn have taken the lead in the Championship, so Middlesbrough's poor start to the campaign in the Championship continues. Meanwhile, here, Pools 0, Woking 0 in the National League, a game that is just sparking into life. Woking in possession, but Pools have had some really good opportunities in the last few minutes.
Pressure from Hartlepool.
Yeah, it is.
Look, making them go all the way back.
That's the one thing they haven't been doing so far this afternoon, but maybe that belief is starting to build. But what an opportunity that was. What a break it was as well. Really nice piece of play. But the woodwork denying Desiree before Joe Gray. Like you say, he did the hard part, didn't he?
Yeah,
He sat
he
his
did.
marker down, create the space for himself, and you thought, there you go, Joe, put it in that top corner there.
Yeah.
And then he was clearly leaning back and just got underneath it too much. Was looking for his 3rd goal of the season. Manny Desiree was looking for his 7th.
He looks a real handful.
Yeah.
He looks a real handful up front.
And I remember interviewing him when he first arrived during pre-season, Ben, and I said, you're often seen as a big target man, but there's a lot more to your play than that, isn't there? And he said, I feel like my link-up play is one of my strongest aspects, and we've seen that already, haven't we?
Yeah, that's something I've noticed. Like, it's the first time I've seen him play, and you can see he's very comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's just won a towering header there, which was fantastic, but you can see that that's part of his game he works on, and he's really good at it.
Throwing for Pools to Finney. Windsor throwing for good measure as well. Pools just winning a few yards here, and Brodie Patterson trying to steal about 15 yards for good measure, but the referee wise to that one. And it is David Ferguson who will take this throw-in on the near side. He goes to Wallace. Ferguson helps it on to Finney, who's really growing into this game. And Pools have the free kick, taking it quickly. Desiree would have been in if the referee would have let him take it quickly, but instead he pulls it back. At least he's been consistent in that, the referee, hasn't he?
He has definitely. I think it's definitely Hartlepool's best period of the game. Started the game a bit slow, which is understandable. I've been there myself where we've conceded 5 goals before, and you want to be cautious. You do really want to look after the back line, but the last 10 minutes have looked really into the game and on the front foot at the moment.
Free kick then for Pools, left of centre. It's closer to the halfway line than it is anything else, but David Ferguson curls this one into the area. On a is there, it comes off the thigh of Desiree, it falls for Seaman,
nice.
Does well to go past his man, right hand side of the penalty area, tries to cut it back and it just flashes wide. I think it took a touch off a Woking defender. He went for goal, Charlie Seaman, and so he might as well, because his form in front of goal has been quite spectacular. He wins a corner, but Pools banging on the door of the Woking defence. They have their first corner of the game.
Yeah, lovely play from Charlie there. Faked the shoot, and got into the byline and fizzed the ball across. Good defending in the end from Woking.
Corner comes in from Ferguson, headed away by Woking. Out to this near side for Seaman, who collects it now. Gives it back to Wallace, who does have all the time in the world. Back to Seaman. He drifts infield, goes by himself. The shot takes a deflection off Podrick Hammond of all people. Rebounds kindly in the centre of the pitch for Crawford. Seaman now on this left-hand side. He's got Wallace if he needs him in space. He finds him now and squares it to Crawford. Pools moving this ball from left to right. It's in the centre circle with Honorise. Studs on top of the ball and then fires a pass into the path of Joe Gray. Back to Ferguson. This is all really nice, tidy play from Pools. Wallace to Patterson. Woking have almost every man behind the ball here, defending in numbers. Wallace trying
good play though.
Yeah, Seaman just trying to unpick the defence there with the ball through to Finney as it rebounds out for a Pools throw.
You can definitely see the confidence in the Pools players now, all wanting the ball, which is really good.
Finney just outnumbered there. Wallace wins it back though to Finney on the edge of the area. Wants somebody to help him out. He's got 3-4 gold shirts all around him. He prods it out wide to the touchline for Wallace. Ferguson picks up a loose ball on this left-hand side into Finney, who has a bit of space but couldn't quite sort his feet out in time. He comes through to the centre of the pitch for Crawford, who just carries it, keeps it.
Lads.
Now Wallace, this is all really nice play from Pools. It's very patient build-up if this was to end in a goal, this would be one of those ones where you put the counter on it for how many passes.
Well done, man.
And Joe Gray wins the free kick. Just getting climbed upon. There was Joe Gray, and it's a free kick from a very interesting position, wide on the right hand side, parallel with the edge of the walking penalty area. And this is going to be inviting, isn't it, for Onarise, for Desirue in there, the tall players who are sort of drifting towards this near side.
Yeah, I think Fergie be aiming for that back post.
Yeah.
Try and whip it in with pace. If it gets the touches off anybody, if it doesn't, it might even creep in the back post itself.
Ferguson to deliver, left-footed into the front post. Oh, Joe Gray got something on it, but it flashes across the face of goal and out for a goal kick. Joe Gray, well, probably won't come closer than that. He was inches away from getting a final touch on that. I don't know if he actually got anything on it in the end.
I think it came off the outside of the post.
Yeah.
Great quality from Fergie. I mean, that's what he's got. He's got the ability from set pieces to whip the ball in with quality, and that certainly caused a lot of problems for the Woking defence. But Hartlepool definitely on top here.
They need to make it count though, Ben.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Pools with a bit of defending to do as the ball drops through to Pete Jameson. Crawford then with the ball over the top.
Make him play.
Joe Gray
play.
chasing
Good
onto
lad.
it and forces a mistake, or forces a clearance, I should say, into the Cyril Knoll stand. And Pools have a throw in deep inside the Woking half. 5 minutes to go till half time as Whitby, an update on their score in the FA Cup qualifying round. Whitby 2, Prescott 1, so Prescott with a goal back. As Charlie Seaman tries to nutmeg his man, but gives it away. Yeah, just dillied and dallied on it a bit too much there, did Seaman. And it's going to be a free kick, I beg your pardon, for the home side, as Seaman is judged to have fouled his man. So 5 minutes to go to half time, and Pools need to make all this momentum make it count for something, don't they?
Yeah, they've definitely been the better team the latter part of the second half. You can see the players' confidence are growing. Hopefully we'll get an opportunity to score before the half time.
Woking picking up a loose ball, trying to find a way over the top of the Pools defence, but Luke Hendry defends well. Desirue wins the flicked on header, but the second ball is picked up by Woking over the top once again. Hendry has to be alive to it, and is. But Woking keeping possession. Squared out to this far side. Ball played through, and Wallace does well to cover, and the ball out for a throw-in. Well, it is a throw-in parallel with the Pools penalty area. And now it goes to Bradshaw, whips the ball into the area, but bounces all the way through, and Brodie Patterson can clear. But won by Moss for Woking. Trying to go through the centre of the pitch. Luke Hendry doing well to win it. Oh, and both centre forwards slipped there at the crucial moment. If either one had kept their foot in, they would have picked up possession inside the centre circle. There's Will Jaskalainen with the ball at his feet, searching wide left-hand side for Podrick Hammond, who can't keep it in. And the ball out for another Pools throw. 2.5 minutes to go till half time, plus any stoppage time that we might have. Obviously had that head injury to Alex Lacey and the substitution which followed, so maybe a few minutes, but and a high foot there on Joe Gray, which catches him flush on the forehead. And Pools have a free kick just beyond the centre circle inside the Woking half of play away to our left hand side. So BBC Radio T Sport, bit of a reset here. Pools 0, Woking 0. Best chance of the game so far, coming after 32 minutes when Ollie Finney curled the ball into the path of Manny Desirue, striding through on goal, one-on-one with the keeper, slipped it past him but couldn't beat the woodwork. It rebounded into the path of Joe Gray, who turned inside the area, sat his man down, but then blazed his effort high and wide Pools here with a free kick. Clipped into the edge of the area by Ferguson, easily cleared only as far as Finney. Out to the left hand side now for Patterson. Helps one into the penalty area. Header from Gray, but backpedaling, got underneath it a bit too much. And it was well wide. Never really bothered Will Jääskeläinen in the opposition goal there. Just couldn't quite sort his body shape out quick enough, could he there, Joe Gray?
Yeah, it was difficult opportunity from header 17 yards out. But again, it pulls into the box, causing problems. I think John will be delighted with the last 20-25 minutes of the half, growing into the game and look certainly on the front foot.
As Manchester United have equalised against Brighton, or at least they had, and then it's gone off my screen. It's been ruled out apparently. Rasmus Højlund with a goal that's been chalked off. Meanwhile, West Ham are leading Manchester City by 1-0. There's your coupon buster.
Yeah.
As James Ward-Prowse has scored. What's the bet? It was from a free kick,
It's
Ben.
not a bad sign in that, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah, he's done really well.
Not at all. But everywhere else goalless in the Premier League. So Aston Villa against Crystal Palace, Fulham against Luton. 1 minute of stoppage time. That's the least amount of stoppage time I've seen in a game so far this season. I can't believe that's a minute of stoppage time.
Especially with the head injury as well.
And the amount of times he's blown his whistle.
You must want a cuppa.
Yes. Wants to get his half-time cup of tea and biscuit, doesn't he? Throwing for Pools. Brodie Patterson finds Crawford. Is there a final sting in the tail of this first half? Ollie Finney looks to curl one to the back post. It bounces all the way through and cleared desperately by Woking. And Josh Casey out for a Pools throw. So we're into the final 20 seconds of this 1 minute of stoppage time. I can't believe that's a minute of stoppage time, honestly.
I think Hartlepool have put some good little balls into the box. I think maybe a midfield player take a gamble, get into the box, just on the back foot really, not having a little gamble and try and read the cross.
It's out for a Pools throw once more. Taken by Seaman, finds Hendry. Seaman trying to go past his man and wins another throw, but that is going to be it at the end of the first half. At the break, Hartlepool United 0, Woking 0, a game in which Woking dominated large possession throughout that first half, but the real chance, the real momentum swinger in this first half on 32 minutes, where Ollie Finney, starting his first game for Pools in 7 months in midfield, curled a ball into the path of the Pools danger man Manny Desirue. Brilliant first touch to open the space up for him, striding through on goal. Will Jääskeläinen in the Woking goal came out. Desirue slipped it past him, it rebounded off the post, and Joe Gray sat his man down, showed great composure, but then in the crucial moment blazed his effort over the crossbar. Just 8 minutes later, Pools with a free kick, and David Ferguson swinging one into the penalty area. Drilled it in with real pace at the front post. Joe Gray arriving, but just couldn't stretch enough to get that vital touch on it to guide it goalwards. Instead it went wide. Pools have had the better opportunities, but Woking have had more possession in the first half. But at the break, Hartlepool United 0, Woking 0. Ben, your thoughts on the first 45?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the game. I think you've summed it up perfect there. I think chances created, Pools have definitely had the better chances. The two big chances of the half. Woking still do look a threat from that direct ball. They're going quite direct at times and causing problems. They're not letting Hartlepool really play out from the back. They've been very aggressive with the press, but I thought Hartlepool grew into the game and controlled the last 20 minutes of the game, and I think the management team will be delighted with that.
Some really good passages of play towards the end of that first half from Hartlepool United. Just some really good patient build-up play, just waiting for that final killer touch to get on the end of some of the play that we've seen. So at the break, Hartlepool United 0, Woking 0.
Perfect. Thanks very much to Rob and Ben from the Suit Direct. We'll be back with them for the second half very shortly. 0-0 then between Hartlepool United and Woking in the National League, and we'll round up all of the scores around the rest of the country after this. Well, it's time to head back to the Suit Direct Stadium with Rob and Ben for the second half of Hartlepool United versus Woking.
Thank you, Josh. Timing perfect. Referee just about to check his watch, Michael Barlow, and gets us underway for this second half. Hartlepool United 0, Woking 0. No changes at the break. So Pools with Pete Jameson in goal. Back three of Luke Hendry, Manny Onarise and David Ferguson after that head injury to Alex Lacey in the first half. The wing backs of Charlie Seaman and first half sub Brodie Patterson. Midfield 3, Tom Crawford, Kieran Wallace and Ollie Finney, with the 2 up front, Manny Dizarue, who hit the post in the first half. That was followed by Joe Gray, who is his strike partner, blazing over from close range as Crawford does very well to find Joe Gray. Tries the little elastico, but doesn't quite come off, and then is judged to have fouled his man. So free kick for Woking just outside their own penalty area. Let me take you through the subs bench for Pools End. Joe Dixon, Osazi Agatis, who joined earlier this week, central midfielder. Might get to see him a little bit later on. Josh O'Meara and Chris Ray. As for the opposition, no changes for them either. Will Jaskalainen in goal. Back 4 of Dan Moss, Tunji Anikola, Scott Cuthbert and Josh Casey. Sitting 2 defensive midfielders of Luke Wilkinson and Zach Bradshaw on loan from Ipswich. A forward 3 of Jermaine Anderson, Jim Kellerman and Ricky Corboa, with Podrick Ammond leading the line up front, the former Pooley. Back at his old stomping ground. Ben Clark, our expert Pools summariser this afternoon, with us on BBC Radio T's Sport. What do you think would have been the message at the half-time break from John Askey, Ben?
I think from John and the management team would be continue how they finished the end of the first half. I think they ended the half really well on the front foot, creating chances, getting the balls out wide, which has been really, really good. And pretty much of the same. Continue with it, try and get the crowd involved, get them on side and go from there, really.
Woking trying an attack which was interrupted by Kieran Wallace. Finney finds Brodie Patterson, who's just out-muscled. Play on, says the referee. Clipped into the penalty area. Podrick Ammond heads it down for Corboa, turns inside the box once and then twice and then scrambles the ball past Pete Jameson. Somehow Woking have found a way through. It wasn't pretty, it was far from that, but Woking have a goal which makes the difference. Hartlepool United 0, Woking 1, and Pools starting the second half just the way they wanted to avoid.
Yeah, real mix up there in the back. I think it might have been an own goal in the end. It was a bit of a lost possession in the middle of the park. Woking pounced on it and like a medley in the box, and I think it's come off a defender. And I think Armand did well for the goal. He laid it back. He was a nuisance in the box and a real scrappy. Now there's a test of character now for the Hartlepool players. They've got to try and put that back behind them as quick as they can and try and get back into this game.
It was a very bizarre goal, wasn't it? It was just, but as you quite rightly say, really good work from Podrick Ammond to just cushion that header down to Corboa, who turned not once, not twice, but 3 times inside the box to wrong foot the Pools defence. Managed to get some sort of shot away that was, as I said, far from pretty, but it made the difference. And now Brodie Patterson committed, and David Ferguson has gone in to try and get in the way of that opportunity, but Ferguson pulls himself to his feet. Every time a Pools player goes down now, you just think, oh no, not another one, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, this is a big test of character now from the Hartlepool players. Just got to keep things tight now at the back for the next 10 minutes and try and create some problems.
Joe Gray
Joe.
Trying to
good lad,
close his man down and wins a corner for the home team. Well, Pools haven't kept a clean sheet in 7 months and concede just 2 minutes after the restart in the second half, and as a manager I can imagine that is mightily frustrating. You've just given your players the messages, the direction you want at the break, and you go out and you concede within 2 minutes. Pools with a corner, Ferguson to deliver this. It's going to be an outswinger, plenty of bodies there to pick from. It bounces down and Manny Dizarue, the shot, he ended up coming off Gray in the end. Well, it was almost like Gray just tried to help the ball on its way, but it ended up helping out Will Jaskalainen in the opposition goal and fell straight to him inside the 6-yard box. A chance, but only that. As I say, Ben, it must be so frustrating as a manager when that happens, and you give all the instruction and you find yourself behind after 2 minutes of the restart.
Yeah, it is. I think the players have got to take responsibility. As soon as they go on the pitch, they've got to come out and start the game really, really bright.
Walking on the attack, Corboa, edge of the area, looking to try and find the angle to get his shot away, and he's wrong-footed Pete Jameson. Oh, and that should have never found the back of the net, but it did. And that was way too easy for the walking man, Ricky Corboa, who makes it 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes, and once again Hartlepool United have capitulated at the back. Hartlepool United 0, Walking 2, and how a game of football can turn on a dime.
Yeah, really, really disappointing. I must admit, I thought Hartlepool were slow in the first half as well, to getting out the blocks. I think the management team would have been told them we need a quick start, we need to get the crowd on our back. I think Pete's got to do better with the goal there. I'm not sure if it took a deflection, but it seemed to go in the middle of the goal. The lad with the left foot, he's took a strike and it's just gone past Pete. This is a real test of character now. The boys have got to get together, senior players get together and try and get a reaction.
Hartlepool United's 100% home record is hanging by a thread. And once again, it is a second half performance which is potentially going to cost them. Joe Gray on this near side, forcing a defensive clearance.
The players now, they can't feel sorry for themselves. Yeah. They've just got to show character. They need somebody to lead. I think they're going to put a ball into the box here along the row.
Charlie Seaman just drying his hands on the side of his shorts, back against the advertising boards. In it goes. Pools need a reaction and need one quickly. The sooner they get one back, the momentum could swing, but they need to do it soon. We are early in the second half, but that time will soon be eroded. Wallace on this near side, low ball into the penalty area. Finney turning and dispossessed, but Pools have a corner. Well, they've at least for the most part reacted after the second one went in.
Yeah, definitely. This is where they need the ball down here, attacking the town end. They need to try and create opportunities, create situations, get the crowd onside.
Can Pools find a way back into this game? Corner from Ferguson. And he's spilled by the goalkeeper and ends up going behind. Tom Crawford thinks it should be another Pools corner, but the referee thinks otherwise. It is a goal kick. Hartlepool United trailing by 2-0. Well, a penny for the thoughts of John Askey down in his technical area. You can see him just peering over to have a conversation with Josh O'Meara, who is heading out to warm up. So the cavalry may well be on its way. Well, football's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
How it can turn.
But I think the clean sheet, it's a major issue, isn't it? It's becoming a problem.
Well, the afternoon gets worse as Blackburn have gone 2-0 up against Middlesbrough at Ewood Park in the Championship. Full match commentary of that one over on 95 FM with Mark Drury and Neil Madison. Corboa, Patrick Hammond, Kellerman on the edge of the area, just gets closed down and blocked out by Wallace. Pools looking to try and counter. Manny Desirue can't quite hold it up, but Pools get the throw in on the halfway line. Well, you're right in what you say, Ben. It is now about that test of character, isn't it? And that's the one thing that's mentioned it in the first half, been aimed at Pools so far this season, that when they go behind, the heads do tend to drop and they do concede one or more quite quickly after. So they need to not feel sorry for themselves and almost try and shake the cobwebs out and get back amongst it.
Yeah, definitely. I think football's easy when you're winning. I've played it. It's easy. Everything's easy. You want the ball. You could see that little period in the first half when Pools are on top, though. Everybody wanted the ball. There's players wanting the ball. Now you need them players more than ever. So this is where you've got to be really brave. Get on the ball. Yeah, keep working hard.
As Manchester City have equalised against West Ham. Doku with his goal there. So West Ham 1, Man City 1. Crystal Palace have taken the lead against Aston Villa through Austin Edouard. So Villa 0, Palace 1, although there is a VAR check on that goal for Crystal Palace. Elsewhere in the National League, Accrington Stanley, sorry, not Accrington Stanley, what am I on about? Aldershot 0, Gateshead 0, Fylde 0, Eastleigh 1, although Fylde down to 10 men in that one. Bromley 2-0 up against Oldham. Halifax 0, Dorking 1. Rochdale 2, Barnet 1, and York still leading Southend by a 1-0. Tom Crawford wins the header.
Handball.
Oh, and surely a handball on the edge of the area. Might fall for Seaman, who hits it on the half volley, and he goes well wide of the mark. But that did look like a handball right on the 18-yard line. And Pool's going to make the changes, or the change, I should say, as Josh O'Meara comes on to replace Joe Gray. And Joe Gray could have added to his tally this afternoon after Desirue hit the post. It rebounded kindly for Gray inside the area. Still had a lot to do. He sat down his marker, but then just put his effort, leaned back as he got underneath the ball. He takes a seat on the bench. The first thing he does is just bury his head into his lap and put his hand to his head. He'll know, won't he, as a player, when you've had an opportunity like that to put your team in the lead,
he'll stick to it. And you know, the best thing for him will be on Monday morning going to training and keep practicing, keep hitting back of the net. I mean, it's been a great education for him. I think the Woking centre-backs have dealt with him quite well. Two physical centre-backs, but this is an opportunity now for Pools with the two lads up front to cause problems.
Long ball over the top that Josh O'Meara will chase. Never going to get there as it drops out of play for a goal kick. So John Askey has rolled the dice. Josh O'Meara playing up front alongside Manny Desirue. It is a strike partnership which, if it were to click, I mean, it would be quite incredible. The amount of goals between those two. 15 goals last season for Josh O'Meara, 17 the season before in the National League for Wealdstone.
Yeah, you can see, I'm glad I'm sat up here and not playing against him.
As he picks up possession now, does O'Meara. Pivots a full 180 to find Kieran Wallace. Luke Hendry on the halfway line, looks over the top towards Desirue, doesn't quite reach him. Wallace fighting for it. Crawford helps it on and wins a loose ball. Inside the centre circle now with Wallace once again.
It's a foul.
Ferguson is fouled, surely, yes, and the referee agrees. So Pools with a set piece. Ferguson to take it left of centre, closer to the halfway line. John Askey watching on with his hands thrust deep in his pockets. Pools staring their first home defeat in the face, unless there is an almighty turnaround in the second half. Floated into the area, offside flag is up. And the moans and groans from around us, echoed by Ben Clark, our Hartlepool. No, you never apologise. Never apologise.
It just adds to the frustration, doesn't it, when you get a free kick like that? And
yes,
it just adds to.
And it allows Woking
to
play.
Exactly what they want.
Yeah, it's exactly what they want. They can play their game down to a T now because they have the 2-goal cushion. Pools 0, Woking 2 if you're just joining us on BBC Radio T Sport on your DAB digital radio. Myself, Rob Law, and Ben Clark here, former Hartlepool United defender, with us to describe the action. Our ball towards Amond, drifting out to the left-hand side, finds Corboa, whose cross is blocked. And a throw-in to the away side. Josh Casey takes it as Borough have a goal back. Hold that thought, crossing the penalty area. Headed away by Brodie Patterson. He'll chase the loose ball and gets there. Good work from him, but he clears it straight into the Cyril Knowles stand. I thought for a minute there he was going to fire it into Josh O'Meara.
Yeah.
Took a deflection, Pools throwing, yeah. Long it goes for O'Meara, just over his head. So a reminder, that was Blackburn 2, Middlesbrough 1. Matt Crooks with a goal back for Michael Carrick's side, who, as it stands, will remain rock bottom of the Championship. Here Pools 0, Walking 2. Josh O'Meara with the ball at his feet, back to goal, does well to hold it up and bring in Kieran Wallace. He goes out to the right hand side for Seaman, tries a through ball to Crawford but doesn't quite get there, and that allows Walking to try and play it out from the back. And long it goes. On a reset, gets underneath it. Hendry finds the spare man in the centre of midfield, which is David Ferguson, the Pools captain. Now Patterson, this is better to Ollie Finney, who's been quiet in this second half after a bright first 45. Turns his man. Wallace looks to dink it towards the back post. Seaman is there. Tries to keep it in, but instead almost sends it into the Morrison's car park.
Yeah, I think Hartlepool are much better when they try and pass the ball. I think they're better than going direct. I think they've got to try and keep moving it, making the Woking defenders team work side to side, but quick play. Good detail on the ball, try and break a line. I think that was an opportunity, but a better cross was needed, and just rushed there at the end. I think he could have put that back across goal.
Another goal in the Premier League. Manchester United 0, Brighton 2 now. It has not been a good week for Erik ten Hag, has it? Well, it's not been a good season.
Yeah.
Not been a good a lot of things for the Manchester United manager. All sorts of things going on there. But our focus is here in the National League, with Pools trying to defend and doing well, outnumbering Ricky Corboa. Charlie Seaman asking for an option, so he goes long, looking for Josh O'Meara, who's going to get there. Wide right hand side at the byline, crosses on top of the goalkeeper, and it just goes wide. Well, if that had dropped in, that would have been one of the most spectacular goals you're likely to see, because Josh O'Meara, right on the byline, managed to get something on it, and it was curling goalwards. It looked like it might drop towards the back post. Will Jääskeläinen backpedaling desperately, but it went wide and out for a goal kick. That would have been something else.
Yeah, it was. It was a nice little clip pass into the corner. It wasn't really a fight ball. It was a lovely pass down the side. A good ball in there from nearly to catch a goalkeeper. I was just looking in the box. There was nobody else in the box. So play the gaps have got to close down. They've got to get closer up to him and get people into the box.
Walking in possession inside their own half. David Ferguson cutting out the ball, and Luke Hendry helping it on its way. Pools going very much more direct now, would you say, Ben?
Yeah, I think with the two big lads up front, but I think it's important they don't keep doing that. As mix it up by all means, but they've got good players that can pass it through.
O'Meara to Crawford, lays it up for Charlie Seaman on that left foot of his. And it's saved at the first and then second attempt by Jääskeläinen. That's better from Pools, and just as Ben Clark, our expert summariser, was describing, Pools much better when they build the play up from the back. They did exactly that on that occasion, and it almost resulted in a goal, but at least a shot on target and at least testing the opposition keeper.
Yeah, I think Josh he's done well when he's come on. He's held the ball up well, so I think that's something they can do. As long as the quality, you don't want to be...
Pools on the attack down the left now with O'Meara. He's got Manny Desiree in the box. He needs a bit of help. Patterson tries to provide it. The cross blocked. And Pools with another corner. Their fourth of the game.
You can just take that daft 5-10 minutes away at the start of each half. Really, I think that's been the difference of the match so far. Hartlepool again. Now they're on top of the top now.
Corner then over on the far side. It's going to be an out swinger by David Ferguson with his left foot. Curls it into the area now. Bounces all the way through. Charlie Seaman picks it up at the byline. Low across the face of goal and cleared at the front post. And out for another corner. Thanks to defending by Luke Wilkinson. Well, Pools, again, we said it in the first half, but they need to make this pressure count. It's vital they do. They're 2-0 down at home. They're taking it short. Finney back to Ferguson. Curls one to the back post. There's a ruin on a reset, both there, but neither able to turn the header goalwards, and it's a goal kick. Meanwhile, Will Jääskeläinen is absolutely going through his teammate in Ricky Corboa, suggesting that he switched off at the corner. You would have never done anything like that, would you? Have gone through one of your teammates on the pitch? No, I would
have went for Timmy if he came for me like that.
It strikes me as a very mild-mannered man, Timmy Constantopoulos, though.
He was good.
Now, Charlie Seaman just having to clear his lines at the back as the ball bounces out for a throw into Woking. This is a Woking side who made the playoffs last season, finished 4th in the table, just 2 points behind Chesterfield, and you know the regard that everybody holds Chesterfield in this season. So Woking certainly no slouches. Lost to Bromley in the playoffs 2-1. As Pools go long for Dizaruwe, who's been dragged down, and that is surely going to be a booking now. And Dizaruwe wins a free kick, wide on the left-hand side, parallel with the Woking penalty area. 65 minutes on the clock.
I know Pools have had a number of free kicks in these positions. Would really need to make something of this. Yeah, get somebody attacking the ball. You know, with Fergie's quality.
Yeah.
Put some good balls in.
It's another thing that Pools haven't really been able to do this season, as Dan Moss has got that yellow card we were talking about, is really put teams to the sword from the free kick. So now we've said that, hopefully they can score from this one and prove us all wrong. Free kick for Pools. Finney and Ferguson over it with a 2-man wall. Finney is the dummy. Ferguson is the real deal, and he curls it to the back post. Too much on it, but it might be a corner, you know. It is.
Corner,
because Scott Cuthbert just cushioned the ball down with his chest to give Pools their 6th corner of the afternoon. But as you quite rightly say, Ben Clark, they need to make these count for something. It's all good racking them up, but they need to have an end product. Ferguson, the captain, to deliver once more. Left-footed into the front post this time. Headed behind again. And the pressure continues to mount.
The last two, knowing Fergie, he won a little bit better delivery with the last two. Overhit the first one, just underhit this one here. So hopefully this one will be on the money.
Ferguson delivers again. Into the 6-yard box, but headed out by Cuthbert. Seaman tries to get something on it on the edge of the area. Patterson wins it. Charlie Seaman can't keep hold of it, but Ferguson is able to just use his experience there to watch the danger. Cleared by Jameson. And now Crawford picks up a loose ball. Left-hand side of play. Finney, Dizaruwe, Amera all in the box. Amera cushions it back to Crawford, whose shot from distance is high and wide and out of play for a goal kick. And that's going to allow Woking to make a change. Jermaine Anderson is the man coming off. And Robbie Wilmot comes on to replace him. The attendance has been confirmed as well. 4,214. That includes 112 who made the journey from Woking today.
Fantastic support, fantastic support from the home supporters. I think that's one thing. Hartlepool have always been well supported. Die-hard supporters that love to come and watch the football, and I know that the players will really appreciate that. Hopefully we can give them something to cheer about the last 22 minutes or so.
As Fulham have taken the lead against Luton in the Premier League. Still Tottenham 0, Sheffield United 0 as well. Manny Dizaruwe gets underneath the ball with a header. Can't quite get it towards Josh Amera. He's walking clear and the ball out for a Pools throw deep inside their own half. This is just the 7th meeting between these two sides. The form book is absolutely tied to a T. 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2. So this is the decider, and I can say this now because Pools are 2-0 down, but Pools have never lost against Woking here at home in those 7 games. When it looks like that might be coming to an end this afternoon, unless in these 20 minutes Pools can find 2 goals to get a draw or 3 goals to get the win. They are 2-0 down. And it's 2 goals that came in 3 second-half minutes. What does that tell you about a team, Ben? When consecutive games now, you've conceded more than 1 goal in quick succession, rapidly, one after the other.
It takes something about the mentality. I think the mentality of the group, not just the defenders. That's got to be everybody from the centre forwards all the way down. And opposition will look at it now. They'll look at it and think Hartlepool might be a bit vulnerable once they've scored. So it's something that they have to address. They've got to be they've got to have a real determination and a passion and to keep the ball out the net. I think that's a big thing. So it's something, definitely the mentality, the players have got to try and get through that themselves.
Luke Henry fighting for it. Wallace winning it. Charlie Seaman trying to go past his man, but loses out. Now Wilmot in towards Kellerman. Ammond. Wilmot once again is walking up to build an attack. Ammond receives it on the byline. Oh, a nice little pass round the corner this time. Goes in and cleared by Pools up to Amera. Ollie Finney gets the man on shout. Crawford almost caught in possession. Finney in space now. Out to the left-hand side for Ferguson. Striding over the halfway line. He's got Brodie Patterson in front of him. He tries to deliver into the box, but it's over the head of Amera. But it comes to Crawford, who's got space in the centre of the pitch. He goes to Kieran Wallace. He squares it out to the left for Ferguson. Amera tries to stab one into the penalty area for Finney, who goes down. And Woking have it inside their own half, and now they look to spring a counter. A beautiful ball out to the right hand side for Robbie Wilmot, who's running at Wallace. There's only one of the yellow shirt inside the areas. Padraig Ammond now joins his teammate Enrique Corboa.
You can just see the confidence in the Woking players now. They all want the ball. They're enjoying it out there. So Hartlepool need to get together. They need to get closer. They need to shut the gaps up, get together. The distances are too big from the midfield at the front.
Yeah, you can see the gap between Finney and Crawford in particular is quite big. Wallace dropping deep in that midfield role. Padraig Ammond, edge of the area, goes past Manny Onarise, but Onarise does well to get back at him, and Crawford completes a clearance up to Dizaruwe. Heavy first touch, which allows Woking to just clear deeper into the Pools half of play. And with 72 minutes on the clock, Pools 0, Woking 2 if you're just joining us on BBC Radio Tees Sport. At the full-time whistle, don't forget your chance to have your say on your team. Text 81333, start the message with the word Tees. Find us on social media at BBC Tees Sport, or you can email tees.sport@bbc.co.uk. All the post-match reaction to come between 5 and 6. Woking have a man down here who just needs a bit of treatment. And all your post-match reaction, if you are heading out after the full-time whistle here, then you can find it, as I say, on our social media pages at BBC Tees Sport. Always the place for pre-match, post-match interviews, views and analysis on Middlesbrough and Hartlepool United. So check us out on there at BBC Tees Sport if you haven't already. But the minute when we interview John Askey later, we'll be talking about first defeat at home this season.
You know, we're just missing a little bit of spark this second half. A little something from somebody.
And I just wonder whether we might see the new signing, Asazi Agatis. He's warming up over on the far side. Woking have got some subs warming up as well. Well, Pools back underway. 73 minutes on the clock, trailing 2-0. If they're going to do it, they need to do it soon, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, football's good touch.
Yeah, good touch from Finney. Out to Dizaruwe. Now found Amera, but there's no one in the box. He tries to pull it back. It's blocked. Patterson is there trying to close his man down, but it's cleared into touch for a Pools throw.
I think just fine margins in football. You know, we have the chance going 1-0 up at half time. It's a completely different game, and I've got to admit, I thought the first goal was a bit lucky. I think it was a deflection.
Ref. Finney's been brought down inside the area. He shakes his head. Pools want a penalty. The referee doesn't agree, and Woking can clear deep into the Pools half. Luke Henry picks up the ball, looking, assessing the options in front of him. He goes long towards Amera, but Woking have it. Diagonal ball to Corboa, who stretches out a limb but can't grow enough, and it's a Pools throw-in. Well, just looking down at the pitch, Ben, and I'm sure in your time in teams you played, a header from Josh Amera. He's in on goal. It just won't bounce for him, and he's been pulled down, has he? But he stayed on his feet. Desirue is claiming he was fouled. The walking man is the man down inside the area. Now the referee blows because the walking defender needs some treatment. He just wouldn't settle down the ball for Manny Desirue. He couldn't get his shot away because he was being pushed, pulled and dragged around. He is claiming to the referee, he's making the gesture now, he was pulling my shirt, ref. But Michael Barlow shakes his head.
I think it's one of them. I think Manny's probably been too honest.
Yeah, I thought exactly the same. If he went down, maybe
he gets the penalty. And I'm not advocate for diving, but like if I'm playing with Manny, I'm telling him go down, make the referee make that decision. I think if he did go down, he would have got the penalty because it was a foul.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah.
If he goes down, I suspect that might be a penalty. But it's not. Crawford looks for a little pass round the corner that's seen out by Dan Moss.
It's one of them, though. If it's a foul, it's a foul, isn't it? He doesn't have to go down, do you know what I mean? He's being honest, he wants to score, doesn't he? That's the thing. And
if you don't want players to dive,
exactly.
if you don't want players to try and con referees, then, you know, like you say, if it's a foul, it should be a foul. You shouldn't have to go down for it to be deemed as one. Throw into Pools. You can see them trying to quickly build a bit of pace about this. Finney to Ferguson, over the top to Desirue, wins his header again, and Josh O'Meara has turned his man. Crawford trying to race in as well, but Josh Casey gets there and clears just in time. Still no movement on the Pools bench then. 76 minutes have elapsed. Pools 2-0 down. Josh O'Meara receives it, edge of the box, gives it to Wallace. Now Patterson turns and tries to feed through to Ferguson, but Pools have a throw-in. They're taking it quickly. Patterson right on the touchline. Wallace to Crawford. This is all over on the left-hand side of play. O'Meara back into Brodie Patterson. He needs to pick the right option and he's blocked. But Pools have a corner. They're 8th of the game.
It's been a strange game. I think Hartlepool have played some lovely stuff at times, and just that.
It's that final
the final bit,
that kill-off, isn't it? It's not there. Yeah. Hasn't been there this afternoon. They've hit the post, they've blazed it over, and had plenty of corners, including this one. Swung in, drops down inside the box. Desirue swings a left boot at it, but it's cleared by Walking. And into touch for a Pools throw right down in front of us in the Neil Cooper stand. Seaman back to Hendry. He goes all the way back to Pete Jameson, who launches it long up towards Crawford. Just beats him though. Luke Hendry finds a loose ball, drives forward in midfield, in the centre of the pitch, out to the left now for Ferguson. Good ball from Ferguson to Finney, left hand side of the penalty area. He sits his man down, he floats it up to the back post. Crawford heads it back down. Desirue can't convert. Why didn't Crawford go for goal himself? He was too kind. He tried to put it on a plate for Desirue, but great work from Ferguson to pick out Finney. He stood it up, and Crawford tried to pass it when he should have went for himself.
It's that ruthlessness, Robert, you just mentioned before. Be ruthless, get yourself a goal. That desire, again, the build-up play, really good play down the left-hand side. Lovely little dink to the back post. And just have that ruthlessness of scoring a goal.
When it's going against you.
I mean, apart the goals, I don't think Woking have actually tested Pete, which is strange to say. They have played well and they're good at what they're doing, but on chances and corners and final thirds and the final entry, I think where Hartlepool and John will be happy with how they've played.
Well, Woking have had 2 corners to Hartlepool United's 8.
Yeah, and there's another free kick.
Yeah,
like a dangerous area.
As Desirue is fouled right on the touchline. As Brighton have gone 3-0 up now at Old Trafford against Manchester United. There's a change for Woking. It's going to see Ricky Corboa go off. He's going to be replaced by Greg Taylor. And you can bet he'll take his time about it as well.
Yeah.
And David Ferguson now just making that point to the referee. So 10 minutes left to play. Pools 0, Woking 2 if you're just joining us. thanks for being with us as always, however you are listening to us this afternoon, whether you're in your car, whether you're at home, you've got us on in your kitchen. Appreciate you being with us. Thanks for your company. Pools trailing and in need of an almighty comeback. Ferguson delivers into the area. It's headed up but not out. Crawford swings his right foot at it, but two gold shirts block out the shot. Falls back to the edge of the area, wide on this right hand side for Crawford, who picks up possession to the corner flag, tries to win a throw in but is outnumbered, and Woking bring it away and go long over the top looking for Wilmot. Ferguson just covers across and picks the ball beautifully out of the air. Do you know, I think Ferguson's been really
he's
bright
been really
today.
Good, yeah.
Crawford in midfield finds Wallace. And Wallace again just outnumbered, couldn't keep hold of it.
Just needs to sort his feet out, Wallace, a bit. Sometimes a bit one-paced. Got to have a picture.
Casey in possession for the away side. Down the line he goes to substitute Wilmot. Now Podrick Hammond being watched closely by Onarise. Crawford does well to keep the ball in and win it and keep it. Onarise wins a throw-in. Deep inside the Pools half of play, away to our left. 81 minutes on the clock then. I said it a few minutes ago, but really, if Pools really want to do it, they really need to do it now. I know I said it before, but I really mean it now. They really do need to do it now. Pete Jameson goes long. Charlie Seaman's turned his man, but the ball bounces up off the turf and out for a throw, and a big puff of the cheeks from Charlie Seaman. A frustrating afternoon because, as our expert Pools summariser Ben Clark quite rightly described, Pools have had the better opportunities in front of goal. They've played some of the better football as well. More set pieces, more corners, more chances in on goal. But they still find themselves 2-0 down. And that is why this is such a tricky division to operate in, isn't it, the National League? You have teams who can just play that game. Good ball forward for Desirue. Got two gold shirts around him, lays it off for Brodie Patterson, takes a touch, goes back down the line to Ferguson. He's got options infield if he so chooses. Goes back down the line to Desirue. The ball is caught up underneath his feet now for a throw-in. And this is, it feels like it's going to be a frustrating final 7 minutes.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think you just summarised it. This is the National League. This is what it is like. It's tough. There's no easy games. Every team will come here and up the game because it's such a big club, and it's a big scalp for teams to come here and play, and they'll enjoy playing in front of this crowd, and they'll enjoy the crowd getting on the Pools players back. And it's something that the Pools players have not experienced because they've been so good at home, so which has been it's a test for them now. But that it does sum up the National League. I think two sides that are really good and find themselves pushing for promotion this year, and it's been a frustrating day.
And the frustration grows because Woking have won a free kick and have a man down. He's just rolled back onto the pitch for good measure. Doesn't rain, it pours, eh?
Yeah, you can see they've got players that have played this level a long time, haven't they? They're good, they're organised, they're fit, managing the game well. So
it looks like it could be back-to-back defeats for Hartlepool United. 83 minutes on the clock. Let's just take you around some of the other scores. Fylde 0, Eastleigh 2 now. Aldershot 1, Gateshead 0. Bromley 3, Oldham 0. Goalless between Ebbsfleet and Chesterfield, and Halifax 0, Dorking 1. Maidenhead 0, Borehamwood 1. Oxford 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 0, and Rochdale 3, Barnet 2. Goalless between Wealdstone and Altrincham, and York 1, Southend 0. Free kick from Woking, but the offside flag is up on Podrick Hammond as he headed over the crossbar. Pete Jameson over to our left-hand side. 6 minutes left on the clock. Pools 0, Woking 2. Here on BBC Radio T Sport and your DAB digital radio. Long ball over the top that goes straight through to Will Jaskalainen to control it inside his area, and a few fans away to our right inside the Neil Cooper stand feel they've seen enough. Off to beat the traffic home, or perhaps to drown their sorrows.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the Premier League, Sheffield United have taken the lead against Tottenham. Tottenham 0, Sheffield United 1. Gustavo Hamer with the goal there, and Man City have taken the lead, gone from 1-0 down to 2-1 up at West Ham. Bernardo Silva with the goal there. Manchester United have a goal back against Brighton. Manchester United 1, Brighton 3. Hannibal Mejbri with the goal there. Highlights of all the Premier League games on Match of the Day tonight at 10:25 on BBC One. The late kick-off sees Newcastle United against Brentford. Pools with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. On, giving it straight away. Lifted into the box towards Amond. Headed out by Onarise, only as far as Dan Moss. Wide right-hand side. Walking, looking to build, but that attack is stemmed by Brodie Patterson. And, well, Josh O'Meara is fouled eventually after they have about 3 or 4 bites at his ankle. And Pools have a free kick deep inside their own half. Long it goes. Desirue is brought down, but nothing given from the referee. The ball rebounds wildly inside the area, and Jaskalainen is able to clear. Well, this will be the first game Pools have failed to score this season. If they do indeed fail to find the back of the net between now and the next 4 minutes.
I think they've gone to, obviously we've got Josh and Manny up front. They've gone a bit too direct at times now. I think it does become a little bit of a fight ball, and I think, if you ask the 2 centre halves, that's what they want. They want the balls coming up so they can have a fight with the 2 centre forwards. I know it's hard when you see the 2 big lads up front to go to keep playing and keep passing when you need a goal, but I think if you ask Wogan if they can have the ball in and around them, that's what we want. You've got to try and move them, move the centre backs, move the players. We've just come a little bit one-dimensional in the last 10-15 minutes.
Meanwhile, York have scored 2 goals in 2 minutes to go 3-0 up against Southend, who are down to 10 men. So York 3, Southend 0. Throwing 2 walking midway inside the Pools half. The end of this game is in danger of just drifting, drifting away. Yeah. You can see Anthony Sweeney giving some instructions down there on the Pools bench. Walking, trying to get the cross away, but Onarise picks it up and goes long. But Desirue is beaten to the ball, and back it goes to the gold shirts of the away side. Out to the right. Pools trying to defend. Ferguson is there, as is Brodie Patterson. And the throw-in goes the way of Walking. I think we're going to see Hartlepool United's new signing in a moment. The throw-in is quickly taken and out for a Pools throw this time. Walking going to make their own changes. So Pools see Ollie Finney go off, who's been bright in spells, hasn't he? I mean, he had a really good first half. Ollie Finney, and almost put it on a plate for Tom Crawford moments ago, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah, I thought you did well first half. I thought he was one of the bright spots first half. Second half, you say he made a great opportunity. His first start for a while. So listen, that'll be in his legs for next week. Good opportunity for the new signing coming on to go and impress and show him what he's got.
Jim Kellerman goes off for Walking. Matt Robinson comes on to replace him. Should say yes, Asazi Agatis has come on for Pools after joining as a free agent earlier this week. Get a chance to see what he has to offer, the former Derby man. He's in possession now. First touch, sits his man down and then finds Crawford. He's got Hendry on his right. This is better from Pools. It needs to be a good delivery. Hendry into the box. It bounces down but doesn't sit up for anybody, and Walking clear. Wallace tries to win it but can't keep it. Now Manny Onarise is in a foot race with Podrick Amond, and he heads it out for a throw-in to the away side, deep inside the Pools half of play.
I think Armand's played that number 9 role really well today, hasn't he? He's caused problems. He's made it difficult for the Pools centre backs to have nothing free. You can tell he's been around, and actually played against him when he was at Grimsby, so that's how long
Did you?
he's been around.
What was he like to defend against?
Yeah, he was all right. He was good. We won 1-0, like he didn't score.
So it was a piece of cake. Yeah. You're trying to be too kind there, Ben. What you're trying to say is you kept him in your pocket all game long. 6 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. So figure that one out. A minute of stoppage time at the end of the first half. 6 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this second half.
I don't think we've had an injury second half, do you?
No, we haven't really, have we? There's been a bit of time-wasting tactics from Woking, hasn't there? But
from the goalkeeper.
Nothing major. As Kieran Wallace just intercepts and looks long for Desirue, but again, it's more hit and hope than anything else. Ferguson gets on the end of a loose ball, finds Agatis. The turquoise boots on his feet, out to Patterson, who is dispossessed. Pools have a throw, taken quickly by Ferguson. Goes long to Amera. He's got 3 gold shirts all around him, does Amera. Is thrown to the turf, but we play on. And the throw-in, look at the manager now, Darryl Sarr. He's keeping hold of the ball just to stretch out the 6 minutes of stoppage time. And many fans inside the ground taking their cue to leave, get home early. So it looks in all likelihood that Pools will taste defeat at home for the first time this season. Failed to score in a game for the first time this season if it ends as it is now, which is Pools 0, Woking 2, and a game that is just meandering through to its conclusion. And that is because of the game management of Woking, isn't it? They're killing the game quite well.
They've managed the game well. They've scored at the right times. I just think the big problem for Pools today is the desire to go and try and get a goal, try and get a shot on target. I think the keeper's had a really comfortable game. There's been enough entries into the box, but without anybody having that real belief that they're going to score a goal. I mean, you can criticise just for the first one in the first half. I mean, he done everything right, man. He did, Bob Parr finish it, and bar that, the goalkeeper's not made a save, which you wouldn't expect coming to here, because it really is a difficult place to come.
Pete Jameson about to take this goal kick then. 4 minutes left to play of stoppage time. Wallace back to Jameson. Finds Luke Hendry on the right hand side. Approaching the halfway line now with Wallace, who squares it to Agatis inside the centre circle. Ferguson crossing the halfway line now, wide on the left hand side in front of the Cyril Knowles stand. Finds Patterson, but again Desirue just beaten to the ball. Just hasn't been his afternoon, has it?
The centre-halves have done well against them, haven't they? They've been really aggressive. I mean, I think first half he was good, he was in the game, he was causing them problems. But I think, when the quality's not been up to him, it's give the centre-halves a chance to go really aggressive with him, really tight. And
Luke Hendry just mopping up at the back there. And normally, Ben, I asked for a BBC Radio T Sport Man of the Match. I know it's always difficult when the team is losing, but I'll put that in your mind now. Just have a little think if there is anybody who stands out for you. If not, that's fair enough. But Brodie Patterson chasing a loose ball wide on the left-hand side, which Woking easily deal with and thump long into the slate grey sky, which has been overcast all afternoon. Little breeze running by the back of the Neil Cooper stand. And it is a sparsely populated Suit Direct stadium at present. Many making their way home, as I say. And Desirue with a header which trickles through to Will Yaskalainen, and Josh Amera just forcing him to collapse on top of the ball in dramatic fashion. 2 minutes left to play. Pools 0, Woking 2. And they're going to have to rebound quickly because they go to Altrincham on Tuesday night. That's followed by a trip down to Dagenham and Redbridge this time next weekend. And the games really do start coming very quickly.
Yeah, it's thick and fast. The National League, you can't really enjoy your wins too much. And the good thing is when you do get beat, there's always another game. So that's a plus. I mean, Altrincham will be tough. They're a good side. They like to pass the ball. They like to dominate the football. I've seen them a number of times over the last few years. So that'll be a tough test. But I think there's a lot to learn, and I'm sure the management team will they'll be watching through the game tonight, no doubt.
Yeah, so we'll speak to John Askey between 5 and 6. That interview with Paul Addison, who's at Ewood Park with Middlesbrough, currently losing 2-1 against Blackburn. So a miserable afternoon all round, really.
Yeah.
But you get the thoughts of John Askey with Paul. And as I said earlier, if you're out and about, you can find it on social media at BBC Tees Sport. I'll post that interview up as and when we get it. Padraig Hammond chasing a loose ball, is going to take it over to the corner, and that's the experience, isn't it? Just a striker who knows his level, knows his quality. Walking just easily playing around Hartlepool United. I thought that was going to be the final whistle there, but instead it is the offside flag. I was about to say that Michael Barlow puts Hartlepool United out of their misery, but he's got about another 30 seconds before he can do so. Charlie Seaman in possession on the halfway line. Looks for a ball over the top, but, well, nobody's showing for the ball. And it goes all the way through to Will Jaskalainen. A frustrating afternoon then for John Askey and his team. It hasn't been without opportunities for the front men in Joe Gray and Manny Desirue amongst others, but it just hasn't fallen for them. And there is the full-time whistle. Full-time, Hartlepool United 0, walking to Pool's first defeat at home this season, the first time they've failed to score in a game this season in the National League. It was a game in which they had the better opportunities, but they just couldn't find that killer moment in front of goal. The best opportunity of the game coming after 32 minutes when Finney played a beautiful ball into the path of Manny Desirue, who strided through on goal, slipped it past the goalkeeper, but didn't beat the woodwork, only for it to rebound out into Joe Gray, who did well, was composed to sit his man down, but then on the final moment blazed his effort over the crossbar. There was another opportunity a few moments later, towards the end of the first half, a free kick from David Ferguson, whipped in at pace at the front post, but Joe Gray again just couldn't get enough on it to guide it into the back of the net. And the second half is where the game turned on its head, and this has been the story for Pools quite a lot already this season in the National League. 2 second half goals in the space of 3 minutes, just 2 minutes after the restart. In fact, 47 minutes on the clock when a ball into the area, headed down by the former Pools attacker Padraig Hammond into the path of Ricky Corboa, who turned again. His shot took a deflection to take it past Pete Jameson in the Pools goal and give the away side the lead. That was then doubled just 3 minutes later when again, from absolutely nothing, Ricky Corboa on the edge of the area got his shot away, trickled through and seemed to wrong foot Pete Jameson and went painfully past him. Whether there was a deflection on there, whether he should have done better, need to see it again. But Pools didn't really offer much in terms of a reaction after that to threaten the opposition goal. A chance for Tom Crawford after some good work from Ollie Finney inside the area once again, but Crawford passing when he could have gone by himself to try and force an effort on goal. It just wasn't their afternoon. Their first defeat of the season at home, and Pools with back-to-back defeats. John Askey with work to do before they head to Altrincham on Tuesday night. It ends Hartlepool United 0, Woking 2. Ben, just your final thoughts.
Yeah, I think second half was really disappointing. I thought first half Pools, you definitely had the better chances. Woking came, started the game well, made it difficult, started on the front foot by pressing high, so Pools went a bit longer. But once they came into the game, I thought that they were the better team in the closing stage of the second half. The real turning point was when we went through. Probably should have scored. You know, he did everything right, the big man, and it was a great ball through. And again, come to Josh Gray, a little bit of skill at the end, and I think that totally changed the game. I think second half, when they got the goals, the two goals so close together, and I think Pools huffed and puffed second half without any real belief. You could see the heads dropped, going a bit too direct at times, and I think that'll be a little bit of worry for the management, because that's the last two back-to-back games where they've conceded two quick succession goals, and you could see that they couldn't really deal with it, and didn't really have a response really.
Is there a man of the match for you? Was there anybody who stood out for you?
I mean, first half there was few, but I thought Fergie kept going all game, and I think you expect that. He's the captain and he's a leader, but he was probably my pick of the players through the 90 minutes. If I was honest, I would probably give it to a Woking player, but I I think Fergie out the Pools players was the pick of the players, but again, first half good, second half there's a lot to work on.
Ben, it's been a pleasure to have your company. Really appreciate it. A good debut from the former Pools defender, but it ends in defeat for John Askey's side. They next go to Altrincham on Tuesday night after back-to-back defeats in the National League.
Spot on, brilliant. Thanks very much to Rob and Ben from the Suit Direct Stadium. Rob will now head off and get some post-match reaction from John Askey. Don't forget, Pools fans, you can get in touch with us. You can do that on 08000 85 95. We've got people ready to take your call. You can also text us 81333, starting your message with the word Tees, or you can drop us a message on X, formerly Twitter, which is BBC Tees Sport. We'll wrap up all the scores around the rest of the country on a disappointing afternoon for Hartlepool United.
Proud to follow Hartlepool United.
BBC Radio Tees
Sport.
Well, it was back-to-back defeats for Hartlepool.
Vinny finds Brodie Patterson, who's just out-muscled. Play on, says the referee. Clipped into the penalty area. Podrick Hammond heads it down for Corboa. Turns inside the box. Once and then twice and then scrambles the ball past Pete Jameson. Somehow, Woking have found a way through. It wasn't pretty. It was far from that. But Woking have a goal which makes the difference. Hartlepool United 0. Woking 1, and Pools starting the second half just the way they wanted to avoid. Woking on the attack. Corboa, edge of the area, looking to try and find the angle to get his shot away, and he's wrong-footed Pete Jameson. Oh, and that should have never found the back of the net, but it did, and that was way too easy for the Woking man, Ricky Corboa, who makes it 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes, and once again Hartlepool United have capitulated at the back. Hartlepool United 0, Woking 2, and how a game of football can turn on a dime.
Yes, back-to-back defeats for Hartlepool United. Let's look at scores from around the rest of the country then. Starting in the Premier League, a late equaliser just for Tottenham. They're 1-1 against Sheffield United. Aston Villa have came from behind with 2 late goals to beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Well, they're still playing, so as it stands, they're beating him. Elsewhere, Man City 3, West Ham 1, Fulham 1, Luton 0, Manchester United 1, Brighton 3, Wolverhampton 1, Liverpool 3. Into the Championship then, QPR 1, Sunderland 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 1, Norwich City 1, Stoke City 0. Of course, over on 95 FM, it's another defeat for Borough. Their poor start to the season continues. Blackburn 2, Middlesbrough 1, Watford 2, Birmingham 0, Bristol City 0, West Brom 0, Preston 2, Plymouth 1, Huddersfield 2, Rotherham 0. Moving into League 1 then, Stevenage 1, Charlton 1, Reading 2, Bolton 1, Derby County 1, Portsmouth 1, Port Vale 1, Northampton 0, Fleetwood 0, Oxford 3, Shrewsbury 0, Bristol Rovers 2, Lincoln City 1, Carlisle United 1, Exeter 1, Cheltenham 0, Wigan 2, Cambridge United 1, Barnsley 2, Burton Albion 0, Wycombe 2, Blackpool 0, Peterborough 1, Leyton Orient 1. Moving into League 2, Wimbledon 2, Crewe 2, Crawley Town 3, Tranmere 2, Gillingham 2, Morecambe 1, MK Dons 1, Stockport 2, Swindon 2, Walsall 0, Accrington Stanley 4, Sutton United 1, Newport County 1, Barrow 1, Colchester 1, Mansfield 1, Forest Green Rovers 1, Doncaster Rovers 2, Bradford City 1, Harrogate Town 1, Wrexham 3, Grimsby 0, and finally into the National League, Rochdale 4, Barnet 2, Bromley 3, Oldham 0, York City 3, Southend United 0, Aldershot 1, Gateshead 1, Maidenhead 0, Boreham Wood 1. And of course here on BBC Radio T Sport DAB, it was a disappointing afternoon for Hartlepool United, where it finished Woking 2, Hartlepool United 0. Finally, 4 local games in the FA Cup. Lancaster beat Mask 4-1, South Shields 2, Bishop Auckland 0, Spennymoor Town 2, Marine 2, and Whitby Town 2, Prescott 1. That's all we've got time for here on BBC Radio T Sport DAB. We'll now head across to Ewood Park to join Paul Addison and Neil Madison.